Yo, what up, what up? This is game 5 of the 1980s challenge. So we're just about to get to the end of the game here. I had a hefty lead, but they've caught up a fair amount lately. So we'll wrap it up and then we'll talk about it. I don't even care if they score. However, if you do play around with the ball, you can burn out clock time and then just lob shots up and just keep the ball rolling. If you can pull the rebound, sweet. Hold it for time and then rinse, repeat. And that way the clock will continue going. As soon as you hit baskets or fouls, obviously the clock will stop in the last 2 minutes. This is pretty typical with quick through. They always, in the last 20 seconds or so, shut you down. No, no, no. So that is a wrap to game 5. So we'll claim our prizes. If you remember one of my past videos, I said I will be doing game 5 for the 80s to get Michael Cooper for the historic spotlight sims, as I still do have the Lakers to do. Don't need them, but it's a good time to try them out there. And the grinds for this new sims are so much easier. What is it? 50 games for 10 cards? That's not bad. It's a whole lot of games for 30, 150 games each. 300 games for the Kobe grind. Wow. And I'm almost done it finally. I feel sorry for those guys who, is sorry the right word? I don't know. But the guys who ended up doing that in a day or two, couple days, 3 days, whatever. I'm a casual player. I put in a lot of time because I don't have much to do lately, but overall I'm pretty casual. Anyways, Michael Cooper. So he was a lockdown defender, and he was also in a slam dunk contest. So feel free to YouTube that. So we will talk about Game 5 here. Well, that was a little bit squeaky. So when we go into this, you pick your team. But before you go into it, if you're having difficulties with these challenges, click on the PlayStation, the square button, so you can see what you're playing against. And with Quick Through STS from the Nets playbook, immediately I'm looking at Danny Ainge to pick on. So I'm going to try to set the ball to my shooting guard every time so he can pick on Danny Ainge. Eventually Larry Bird will come over to help cover, but that takes both of them out of the play. And Danny can't really recover, so you always want to look at who you're playing against before the game. So for instance here, although the Lakers are tough, so you can't really do it with them. You just kind of want to think about their slowest guy, which I would say is probably Cooper or McAdoo. Magic, I played against him quite a bit. He pretty fast, pretty fast. The Sixers here. So again, you know right away who you're picking on. Poor Clint Richardson. But I mean, there's a bunch of guys. I picked on Mo Cheeks because with the cards that are available this time of the year, Mo ain't that much. Bobby Jones is a defensive specialist. So you might want to consider that if you plan on running quick through him. And then I just avoid Julius because he can recover quickly. Again, Lakers we already looked at, but it should be the same. Yeah, it is the same. Celts in this first one. Poor Cedric Maxwell. So, I mean, yeah, just check it out. Make sure you know who you're playing against and pick on that one specific person. When I did the in-game setups for defense, I do Smother and what's the other one? Actually, I'm not wasting contracts anyway, so we'll check it out here. Actually, never mind. It's the other one besides Smother. I can't remember. So left side Smother, the right side's not close, but whatever the hell it is, I can't even think right now. And then as you're playing, I have it on the most conservative stuff. So conservative, auto, neutral, all of that kind of stuff. And that way you play both net and 3-point line. I don't take huge risks because I'm just not that great of a steal god. But yeah, it's really not that hard. You should be able to get it. Even if you don't have a decent roster right now, you can buy really cheap cards. I mean, like Pink Diamond David Robinson here, I think is 15 grand. And everyone's talking about him, obviously. I thought about adding to the collection, but for 15K, I'll pass. I already have the Opal. So I just saw one for 16. 14. So, I mean, he's cheap. See if we can find him cheaper. Maybe I will buy him for the collection if he's cheap enough. 12.8. So he's a shade over 12. 12.5 probably. So he's a good option. But I mean, like I said, most of us should have a pretty decent. You can run a 5-man roster. There is no requirements for the newest Sims. And it's actually a good way to add a couple cards for you to do your Spotlight Sims and your Historic Spotlight if you haven't finished them already. But I just realized after all my babbling, I didn't even show him off. Again, I need to learn to shut up. So, Coops, 93.99, 37.14. A whole lot of badges for a Pink Diamond. Good defensive specialist for you guys if that's what you need. So a good suggestion, especially if you run a 10-man, is have a 5 slot of attackers and then have a 5 slot of defenders so you can adjust accordingly as you play. If one guy's pounding you, just flip in the defender off the bench. Timeouts are pretty straightforward. Save them all to the third quarter, burn 4 of them, and then have the 3 remaining for the fourth quarter. But remember not to save until the last 2 minutes because you lose 1 right there. So you'll want to use at least 1 before the 2-minute warning. If you're doing a 5-man, I'm doing a 13-man, so it doesn't really matter. Tendencies, yada yada. And I actually did lose this game the first time I tried it, just because sometimes this game, you're destined to lose. It doesn't matter how you play, you're destined to lose. And like I said before, if it's a close game, come the end of the game, forget it. You're gonna get them jumping the passing lanes, stealing everything, getting and ones, shooting greens from near center. So you got to make sure you get separation the quickest possible. So I mean, there's old Coop stats. I don't think I'll ever use them, like I said, except for the end of the Kobe grind or any specific challenges that require X amount of whatever team's players. But I mean, it's nice to have. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. That is Michael Cooper. And thanks for watching. And as always, keep your grind game strong.